I think part of the it factor is working on Saturday. I know there was a few of us that were working on Saturday, a very productive day. Getting a hold of prospects on a Saturday, having some closing opportunities, and setting appointments for the upcoming week. So appreciate those that did work Saturday collectively, because here's what I find when I work on a Saturday. And first of all, you can make connections on Saturday. You don't have to worry about a busy work schedule that the prospect has. If they're open to it, I think people are more receptive. They don't have the hustle and bustle of the work week that interferes. So a lot of times they're more receptive and there's less distractions. So we're able to spend time, and I don't feel, rushed. The prospect doesn't feel rushed. And certainly Saturday, they seem to give you a little bit extra attention, again, because there's less distraction. So Saturday can really pay off for the time that we put into it. And really what we did is we set up the week ahead of time. I mean, this afternoon, literally, I think it's 5 or 6 appointments that have been set up because of what was done on Saturday. So it was a very productive day. And, not everybody takes the weekends to work. And, Sunday's usually a family day or a personal day. I always say as a broker, we get to create our own schedule. We actually work when we want to work and don't work when we don't want to work. But I always feel that downtime is needed. We have to clear our head. I think that it can't be all work and no play, because that kind of sets yourself up for burnout. And I've heard people use the term burnout. I've never experienced burnout. I've sometimes experienced discouragement, where I'm hitting my head up against the wall and I'm not breaking through, right? So, but I think downtime's needed. I mean, if people, I love to recharge batteries. I usually take Sunday to recharge the batteries, to do something different, to realign my mind, body, and spirit, to live life, the fruits, to do something fun. That kind of takes you away from what we do, right? It's not a glamorous gig. The money can certainly be glamorous, but I truly believe that downtime is needed. I always cringe when, somebody that might not be able to work in a home environment, right? Most people nowadays in our industry, you don't have an office to go to. And I've thought about that. I used to be that one person that would show up every day to a office, have that office environment. And it's not needed. I can be just as effective in my home as I could in an office without all the overhead, right? So working from home and having the discipline to work from home is part of what we do, keeping overhead low. But some people, it's a challenge to be productive when they're home. Too many distractions, right? So, but just understand, when you do work, and I got one of those timers that, for me, I got to focus. I set it for 15, 20, 30 minutes, and I'm just concentrated, full effort, focus for that time. When that alarm goes off, then I take a break, whether it's a 5-minute break to get right back into it. So I'm really it's all about time management and using it constructively. Sometimes I find myself being distracted and not focused. And I think that timer is certainly helping me. We talk about being a broker, but there's really, I think, more to being a broker than just selling business opportunities, license deals, franchise deals. I think we also are teachers. I think a good broker is really someone that can teach, be a good teacher, lead by example. I think it's important to be a storyteller, and I'm not talking about fiction. I'm talking about, real live storytelling. I love telling stories about how Aloha Laundry Life, Dirty Laundry Solutions, how that was born. I love telling the story of, Peter Trang pitching us in an Uber ride in North Carolina, and how that evolved to where the company is now. It's people, I think, love to hear the story. So every company has a story, has a background. So a lot of times, you have to understand and know what the story is and be able to tell it effectively. I also think a broker has to be a therapist. No, not a licensed therapist, but sometimes you got to be able to talk to your candidate and empathize with what they're going through. And a lot of times there's some pain, and you have to be a good listener. A therapist, you spend money to go to a therapist. What do? You pay money for somebody to listen to you for an hour, 50 minutes or whatever that time frame is, but it's therapeutic. Sometimes people just need to talk. Being a good therapist as a broker, I think, is important. And of course, being a consultant, being able to objectively put somebody in a business that makes sense for the candidate. It's got to be a good fit. So to be a consultant, very important, and a confidant, someone that they can get confidence in. And I think that comes with building a bond, building a trust, and they look to you as a confidant, somebody that they trust, and you become a friend. The good news is that when you put somebody in business, I can assure you, you've done a great job building a relationship. You've done a great job where they know you, they like you, and they trust you. Because if they didn't check all those boxes, there's no possible way that they're going to come on board. So you have to have that human connection. And I can say comfortably, the people that have gotten into the business, they are friends. I learned actually from a broker in this room today that it's okay to stay in contact with your candidates, because we're in this business long term. It's not a one and done. It's not a wham bam, thank you sir kind of a deal. Once they're on board, that's when the journey really begins. Staying in touch with them, reaching out to them, sending a text to your prospect just to see how they're doing. Again, you keep that connection, because what's going to happen is they might have a referral. And sure enough, over the weekend, somebody that purchased a territory for our transportation logistics company had a referral of a friend that just came into some money and is looking for a place to put it, to invest it. Don't even know if we're going to be talking transportation logistics. So that referral is just a result of staying connected with this licensee.